Hey friends, welcome back to the BoxCast podcast season 2. My name is Gary. I just want to let you know that I am the professional services manager here at BoxCast in case you forgot. And this is our podcast and we're so excited for season 2. I can't wait for this to kick off. But we've made some changes and I'm very excited about these changes. In fact, we'll get to one here in a moment. But the first one is we're changing the format a little bit. We're going to move to a more video style podcast and we'll let our systems take care of everything else for audio. But we've kicked Josh and Wade out of the studio, and they're no longer part of this. They're actually producing right over there, and they're helping us out with all of our graphics and notes and editing skills. But one of the biggest changes, because we've kicked out Josh and Wade, is we've brought in someone who's way better. Way better. Friends, family, folks, countrymen, countrywomen, country people, lend me your ears and your eyes. I'd like to introduce to you today Danielle. Danielle, welcome to the BoxCast podcast. I'm so excited.
Hi, Gary. So happy to be here. Very excited to take the place of Josh and Wade. I know I've got a lot of shoes to fill with both of them, but I'm sure I can at least level up halfway there. So,
well, I mean, maybe lengthwise you have some shoes to fill. Why? I think you're fine on the wide shoe.
Okay, perfect.
I'm so excited for you to be here. This is a great opportunity to be able to introduce new people that are part of BoxCast and love the same things that we love when it comes to streaming and production. And I know that you have some of that history. So, like, first and foremost, where do you come from? Like Wisconsin, Argentina, where do you come from?
Yes, I am Ohio born and raised. I have lived here my entire life. I don't know if that's all by choice, but I've been here. And so I went to school south of the Canton area, and then I went to college at Ash University, where I got a video production degree. Had a lot of fun with that. I was a radio DJ for 2 years. I worked on our newspaper for a couple years. And then I went into marketing. So worked at a couple different companies. Previously was at an agency where I did actually help produce our podcast there. So I was scheduling everything, coordinating everything, keeping time in the room, pretty much just all the producing pieces you needed. I wasn't switching or anything, but had a really great team, did a lot of the post-production as well. So very excited to be back on this side of the camera, not usually where I'm at. So very excited to be here, though.
I'm very excited for you to be here as well. I'm extremely happy. I'm glad that we got Josh and Wade out of the mix and we brought somebody better in. So, no, I'm just kidding. Josh and Wade are fantastic. They're amazing. And they're just sitting right over there laughing. They're, faces off right now. So, but okay, so you've had some experience on this end. So you hail from Ohio. You're an Ohioan, right? So are you Scarlet and Red or are you blue and gold?
No. Scarlet and Red all the way.
Scarlet and Red.
Scarlet and Red, yeah. Nope. Retry that again. It's Scarlet and Gray, but yes,
Scarlet
all the way.
And Gray. Scarlet Red, Scarlet Gray. Hey, is this mic on? Okay.
Cut, Wade.
Hey, we'll just pick up from where we are. Okay. So you've had a lot of background in this area. What do you do primarily here at BoxCast?
Yes. So at BoxCast, I am the digital marketing manager. So I am in charge of all of the digital assets that go out. So social media, email, blogs, advertisement, all of those fun things that you see. I help kind of lead that strategy and the charge with that. I've got a really great team underneath me helping me with all of that. But so
all those really cool Instagram things that we see or TikTok things, that's part of you and your team's creation of promoting BoxCasting and getting our name and face out there.
Yes, we've had a lot of fun with starting to get into the Reels and TikTok space. We've got one really nice after our season 1 ending with Gordon and Sam, and that was really fun. So that's on our Instagram. You can check that out. But we've had a lot of fun lately, and you see a lot of just cool things naturally happening with social media in general right now. For sure. So just keeping up with the times. Yeah.
Well, listen, if you're interested in seeing season 1 of our podcast, we'll drop a link here in the description or summaries below. Yes. Please take a look at that. We had a lot of fun doing season 1, and so season 2 is going to be even better. I feel like it's going to be fantastic. So,
yes, very excited.
Well, let's kick it off then. Let's get into it. Today, we're going to talk about something that's very common in live streaming, and that's the concept or the general idea of what we call simulcasting. Mm-hmm. So give it to me. What is simulcasting?
Simulcasting is sending one event live stream to multiple destinations. Those destinations could be Facebook, YouTube, your website. Pretty much as long as you're sending to more than one, you are simulcasting.
More than one place. So, simulcasting is pretty interesting because BoxCast, we do that pretty well. I think we have a really good fine-tuned system for that. And every platform does it a little bit differently, right? Mm-hmm. They either have an integration or you do it through some sort of like stream key and stream key password that you would set up. Right. But with BoxCast, Wade and Josh will show you here with a cut that you can actually schedule it right inside of your dashboard inside of the broadcast. And we can send to hundreds of simulcast destinations.
Yes.
And that's the beautiful thing about like a service like BoxCast. And of course, this is a BoxCast podcast, so we've got to put ourselves into it a little bit.
Just a little bit.
But that's the beautiful thing. We make it super easy for that to happen. So
Yes.
pretty cool. So with simulcasting, if we're taking that single broadcast and we're shipping it out to many different areas, what's like, give me a benefit of that. Like, what's the purpose behind it?
Biggest benefit is you are everywhere. No matter where you're at, people can find you. That's the biggest thing, is you are not just stuck on, you have to go to boxcast.com to find this. You can go to our Facebook, our social, our YouTube. You can go to Twitch. You could go to Discord. Wherever you wanted to go, you can go to all of those places. It's wherever you're comfortable. That's the biggest benefit, is you can go where you're comfortable and where you remember. I mean, I think that's the hardest thing, is like, you're never going to remember a long URL with like TUVW312N. Like, it doesn't, you're not going to remember that. Like
the server identifying numbers, right?
Right.
Like I wish you could customize those. That would have been interesting. R2D2. That would have been my custom one to put in there somewhere. Or C3PO would have been a pretty cool custom one. I would love to do that. I think just in thinking in concept of like simulcasting, do you think it's hard for that concept to be easily digested by people who live stream?
Yes and no. I think yes, if you haven't done it, you don't think about adding those in there. You're like, oh, I'm live streaming. I've got one camera. I've got one computer. We're going right to our website. And then it's like, well, time out, pause. Like, it's like those old like Saved by the Bell episodes where Zach Morris would just like pause, be like, all right, everybody time out. Like, and then he would just like walk you through the situation. And so
you brought Saved by the Bell into this. I love it. Yeah.
So, but it's just very similar to that. Is like, you can just be like, all right, time out, pause. Like, did you know you can send to like X, Y, and Z? And it's like, boom, done. And it's like, then magically the internet just like scours it on out.
I just don't think a lot of people see the benefit in doing that a lot of times. Like, some people are just like, I really want web traffic, or I really just want to stream to Facebook, 100%. Right? And I think I get that concept. Like, I mean, our church, our organization, we stream to Facebook and YouTube. YouTube more for archival reasons, but Facebook just because we have a lot of people there.
Right.
But also to our website. And then the added benefit is you also have things like OTT apps,
Yes.
So something like Roku or Apple TV or even Fire TV, and those I think now in the day and age, like, companies are trying to make that a little bit easier on people.
Yeah.
Right. But it's also like such a hard concept to understand, that especially in a branding world, and I think we'll talk about this some other time in the season. It's just it's important to put your name out there to as many places as possible.
Yeah, I could probably do like 3 episodes on like the importance of branding and brand awareness.
Well, you're a marketing person.
I'm a marketing person. I can definitely talk about that all day, every day. So
marketing's your gig. I like it.
It is.
I'm not a marketing person. Like, I'm just like, here, I'm gonna throw this at you guys, and you guys put it wherever you want.
Yeah, I mean, that's how season 1 went, right? You were just like, hey, can you promote this to the world?
Yeah.
And we're like, absolutely, we can roll out.
That was a dig on Josh, though, right? That wasn't on me.
No, it's no dig on anybody. It was just like, hey, friends, you do social, we need help, and we're like, got it. Let's go.
That is true. We did throw it out to you guys, to the marketing team for that assistance. Now we've kind of grown out a little bit, and we're kind of pushing this a little further. So, I mean, there's also that concept of like, some people want to stream to third-party platforms. Like, I mean, Twitch is being one of those platforms, or Discord being one. I mean, there's all kinds of hundreds of them out there, and the ability to do that, especially in the BoxCast platforms, like crazy easy.
Right.
But do you see benefit? Like, do you see? I don't want to say benefit. Do you see that's changing now in the world of streaming? Like, just as somebody who I know who doesn't like stream all the time,
right?
But like, do you see that as like a concept that's coming down the pipeline is changing? Because OTT apps especially are becoming more and more popular, and people are using apps all the time. I mean, mobile devices are crazy. Right. Do you see that as something that we see simulcasting be a huge impactor for?
I think so. I think the biggest impact is that you have the ability to reach someone where they're at. I mean, I already said this once. It's about the comfortability of the viewer and where they are comfortable going. If they know every week consistently they can turn on the Roku TV, go to the BoxCast TV app, and go right to the stream, they don't have to worry about it. But if they have to sit there and do the runaround every time they want to watch a stream, they're not going to watch. I think it's like the biggest benefit is, I think you have the consistency, and then you have that viewership that since they know where to go, they're going to come back every time after time, because it's so much easier to go someplace you're comfortable.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I think I don't know. Maybe this is something that we could both like give our opinion on. Okay.
Sure.
This is an opinion question.
Okay.
Because I like to like concept these things in my head. And then in the middle of the night, I'm up at 4 a.m. thinking, well, how can I make that better? But anyway, so you're marketing, right?
Yes.
Marketing, social media marketing. And I'm just lonely old Gary in the professional services world.
Yeah.
You give your opinion, I'll give mine, okay? For this question. So here it is, opinion question. Where's the top place outside of your website you should send your simulcast to?
Oh, a social destination immediately.
Oh, you got to be more specific. Narrow it down. Which one?
YouTube. I think especially if you've got a really large following, YouTube, you have the ability to put in playlists. You have the ability to have more of an in-depth thing. You can have comments. You can also have the live interaction. Especially if you're streaming live and you're not like rebroadcasting, you have the opportunity to have that viewer chat and talk to people easily. I know you can do that on Facebook, and I know you can do it on like Instagram and things like that.
Well, and BoxCast now too.
Yes, and BoxCast TV. But if we're not talking about BoxCast TV, we're not talking about website,
right.
I think YouTube, because YouTube is easy. It's a search engine. You can go in, you can type in what you're looking for, and it pops up easily.
Interesting. I'm not a marketing person. Obviously, we stated this. I honestly think it's Facebook.
Okay.
I honestly think it's Facebook. Although Facebook has some major restrictions.
They do.
And we'll get into that some other time. But like,
yes.
very, very few times do I see Facebook become underviewed than YouTube.
Okay.
Very few times. I see Facebook, I mean, with even our own social media stuff with our church, like Facebook is like explodes. Like people are all over that. And even in post viewing, that's like, even after post live events, like that's the biggest driver. You know, you see that 2, 3, 4, some churches, some places, organizations are like thousands of views after the fact. Now, I will say this. I think for your opinion on YouTube, I would agree for analytics. I don't like YouTube's analytics system. I'm sorry, Facebook's analytics system, because like who really cares about 3-second views? Like,
there's a lot to be said about that, but it's not in this podcast.
Can the
topic.
production team give me a thumbs up or thumbs down? Like, really? Who cares about 3-second views? I'm sorry, but I don't.
They said no.
That analytic is goofy in my opinion, but like
the point of the 3-second view is that you at least captured the attention. However, when you see that drop off, you know that you did not keep their attention. That is what that analytics states.
See, this is why we brought you in instead of Josh and Wade, because you have that. That's great. I like that. Okay, so remember that, folks. If you're looking at 3-second views on Facebook, it's because you're not capturing their attention. So your engagement needs to come up, which we can talk about later.
Yes,
I'm excited about those. So yeah, I'm personally on the Facebook camp just because. Now I can tell you foremost, and I'm not a social media person. Like I don't like it. I think all of our production teams like, but you're not on Instagram. I'm like, well, yeah, sorry.
I mean, for me, I think the biggest difference between our answers is also who might be our demographics.
That very true. Yes.
So
I agree.
When you think about someone who's a little bit older, they might be an elder at your church. Like they're probably on Facebook and they follow like 3 people and like their grandkids and then like your church. Like it's very easy for them to just like see that all the time
and share it
and be done.
Right.
If you're a little bit younger, you got to think like you're probably following 400 or 500 things, 400 or 500 people. Like, I mean, I probably follow 600 people on Instagram myself. Like I have a mass like variety of numbers.
That's a lot of people to be
It's a lot of people. Yeah. But the problem with that is I don't see everything from everybody at all times because I follow so many people. So with the algorithms of social media, especially Facebook, and Instagram from Meta, the reason the algorithms are going to show your live video more than, a post from grandma is because they're pushing video. They're pushing it so hard that like it's the number one.
Well, don't
driver.
You want that then?
You do. But if there's also the caveat with stuff. So
Here
you easily subscribe with YouTube. You can find it easily. You go back. You can always get a little notification. You can even get an email because it's connected to your Google account.
Right.
With Facebook, you can like a page and not follow it and never see their items. So there are some weird quirks that can happen.
Yeah, okay. See what you're saying.
And so I think some of the times with Facebook, it gets lost because if everyone's doing video, imagine trying to like shuffle through all of that. So like, I know YouTube is all video. You can go down so many weird rabbit holes, but it's also a lot easier to search on because you can type in BoxCast podcast or podcast talking about simulcasting, and we're going to come up regardless. With Facebook, you have to search the page.
That's a good thought.
So you have to know exactly the name of the page. If our company page
That's
was like
thought.
BoxCast Tech Company and someone typed in BoxCast, we may not pop up first. So
that's an interesting concept.
It's a little bit more of an easier way to search on YouTube.
So when we talk about simulcasting in the whole event of just getting everything everywhere, right? That makes that searchability a lot easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
So do you think that do you think that maybe if you're very selective, it's easier to grow into other ones? Like maybe if you had an opportunity to just select one or two at the beginning, what would your two options be? Facebook, YouTube?
Yeah, I mean, aside from BoxCast.tv, aside from your website, I mean, Facebook and YouTube are going to be the top places. Like, unless you're someone who's like a gamer and you're on Twitch, like your audience probably isn't going to go there.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if I was doing an organization, like I probably wouldn't go to Twitch. I don't think that's where my fan base would be. I don't think that's where your organization is. Too. So like, yeah, it comes down to your audience. And I think if you know your audience is primarily on Facebook, go to Facebook. If you know your audience is primarily on Twitter, go to Twitter. But you need to know where your audience lies. You need to know the age, the demographic, what their interests are. That's the biggest benefit.
So when we talk about some of those things, you know, we're talking about outreach and exposure being the two biggest ones, right?
Absolutely.
So engagement in simulcasting is also another huge piece of that puzzle. Outside of chat, like what engagement can you do?
Yes. So, I mean, the biggest thing is you can chat, you can share it, you can like it. Obviously, those are what we call vanity metrics. So vanity metrics are likes, shares, comments. They're not going to be the ones.
I love having you here. Listen, if Kathleen's watching this, I'm on the marketing team now because I'm learning so much. I'm just saying, like, you can just hire me now, okay? All right.
So, but the vanity metrics are things that people just do. I almost like muscle memory. Like when I'm scrolling Instagram, if I see someone, I'm literally double tapping, and I don't even, do I like it? Maybe, but am I more just doing it because I'm just muscle memory? I'm doing it. Like, it's a vanity metric. You can't judge how many likes you get. I know that's a big thing, but it is something that's starting to become more like the metrics you want to read that are going to be more important are the click-throughs and how many people are going to watching the whole video. So
the amount of time that they're actually spending. The
amount of time they're spending watching the video is if there's any like call-outs to link to something else, seeing them link to that. Wow. I mean, the biggest benefit with simulcasting is when you're going to your website, you're getting all of that traffic for Google. You're helping your SEO. That's like a massive increase. SEO.
Is that a ship name?
Search engine optimization. So it's basically how things rank on Google.
So it's not a cruise ship.
No, unfortunately not.
SEO. I'm sorry.
We should, though. That could be the next.
BoxCast CEO. Like, listen, we're making a cruise ship, guys, and we're going to call it BoxCast CEO.
Yes.
CEO, SEO, CEO, SEO, whatever. Okay. Yes. I like that, though. I like the breakdown, and maybe we need to dive more deeply into that, like how do you build engagement? But I think there's some of those basic concepts you're talking about. I like the idea of the muscle memory, the vanity thing. Like, I think I understand that concept a little bit better. But like in simulcasting, like I just like, take spaghetti and throw it against the wall. Like that's my whole goal when I'm live streaming is just throw it wherever I can get it and let it stick. Now, do you think breaking that down after a while is important to say, well, we're not gonna go, we're not gonna stream to Discord anymore because we had like one viewer.
I mean, we did that with the BoxCast podcast.
We did, yeah, we did.
We looked at what channels were performing and not performing, and we
gave them the axe.
We cut the ones that didn't work anymore. We're like, we're going to focus on ones that are doing well.
We knifed them. We took them out.
Which is fine. But I think there's no hurt in experimenting and trying. You literally won't know until you try. Well, that's the biggest thing.
That's what this podcast was, is an experiment.
Right, exactly. However, there are some bad things to simulcasting.
Yeah, hit me with some of those, because that's an interesting thought, right? Like, you're like, oh, there's some bad things.
So, I mean, pros and cons to everything that you do. The biggest pro is you get the engagement, you get your brand awareness. The biggest con is you have to have someone monitoring the chat on 3 or 4 different platforms.
That's people requirements.
You have to think about that. People requirements, or just really good at multitasking. Like, we usually have 1 or 2 people when we do live shows, our webinars. We always have 1 or 2 people in the background searching for questions, answering. Like, it's not just Josh or Wade up here and they're like magically typing to you. It's a team. It's something you have to have. And if you are a one-man show, it's a little hard sometimes.
And that is hard, yeah.
The biggest thing is then you have to know which one is your priority. Again, coming back to where does your audience live? If your audience lives on your website and you can chat through BoxCast.tv's viewer chat, great, no problem. But if your audience lives on YouTube and you're only looking at your website, you're missing all of the action and the engagement.
It becomes difficult, yeah.
So, it's a two-way thing. You have to give to get, and that's one of those things where you're giving to all of these platforms, but you have to know in order to get more viewers and higher rates, you have to be interactive back with them. That's the biggest piece, I think, that people probably stray away from simulcasting for, is because
of the requirements.
They just don't have the manpower to help behind.
Oh yeah,
them. If it's just me and you doing this, and we had to switch and do all our audio, we'd have our hands full, and we wouldn't have time to sit here and be like, let's reply to a chat.
But we're ballers, and
we have a whole team.
We kind of already are doing this on our own,
right? I mean, we have a whole team, which is really great to see. So I think that's something that helps. Another bad thing that can come up with simulcasting is the idea of copyright infringement.
Oh, copyright infringement. Yeah.
We all know someone has had something be blocked by Facebook because of copyright infringement, whether that be a song,
every
whether that
week
be...
for me. Every week.
Yeah, and that's hard because I'm sure
it's frustrating.
It 100%
it's so frustrating. And we'll get into that more, the qualms and woes and ways to fix that. But that makes me so perturbed.
But the biggest issue is internally, you have bought the rights to play the songs that your band plays. Yeah. You've bought the music. You have the rights to do that. But Facebook's nope, you don't.
BMG says no. Sony Music says no.
Exactly.
I can name them all right now.
So that's only, that's a bad thing. You have to think about what kind of production are you putting on? Are you going to have music that could potentially get flagged? Because if that's the case, then simulcasting may not be for you in that sense, because Facebook and YouTube are going to call us out. They don't want to get in trouble by anybody for allowing music. There are obviously especially on YouTube, there are caveats if you put certain things in the description being I've used this for educational purposes. And it's you have Crazy Train by Ozzy rocking out in the background.
Yeah.
But that's how you can YouTube's oh, okay.
Not a sponsor, by the way. Crazy Train, Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath, not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor of Saved by the Bell either, but...
Zach Morris, you can call me anytime, bro.
Same.
Even though you're not a real character, a real person, it's fine. It's understandable. That's cool. I like the fact that you dived into that. That's one of my favorite things, that you dove into the bad parts of it.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants to focus on the positives, and there's really some negatives.
It's like buying a car. You gotta test it out before you physically buy it. You cannot just be I'm gonna purchase that car solely because it looks cool. I mean, I know there are people that do that. Good for them.
But Carvana wants you to do it that way.
Yeah, but the idea is
not a sponsor.
The idea is that when you purchase on Carvana, you've probably already gone and test drove somewhere else.
Yeah, that's very true.
It's
that's
your
probably
final.
Entirely
it's
true,
your final purchase destination. It's your final destination. You've done all your research.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing with simulcasting is the research. I've hit it probably 3 or 4 times already, but know your demographic. That's your research. Knowing your demographic is so important when it comes to this stuff, because then if you know your audience, you know exactly where to find them.
Yeah.
This conversation becomes null and void at that point, because if you know where they're at, you know where to go. But
it also is a good thing for you to experiment in that regard too, because there are different places and different ways that different things operate on, and many different platforms. And that could be an app, it could be a web page, it could be a server like Discord, something that you can push your content to. But it's always good to experiment. I think for our last few minutes here, we have some decent recommendations. Don't overlook the fact that a lot of social media is oversaturated.
Right.
And so and we'll talk about how to actively engage and how to actively present your content so it kind of rises to the top of all of that. But since COVID broke out and everybody had to go to live streaming, the Facebook, YouTubes, Twitters of the world, they're all oversaturated. So just be aware that sometimes oversaturation, I think it comes right back to that search, querying and capability. That can be a major factor, is to don't get frustrated by that. Just there are ways to work on it.
I think and last piece here, I think the biggest thing is do what you're comfortable with. I know we've talked about stepping out of the comfort zone, trying a new platform, but if you're comfortable going to your website right now, great. 3 months, set a goal. Try YouTube. If it doesn't work, you can take it back. It's free. That's the best part.
Oh yeah, any
social destinations are so free. All you do is have an account.
The only thing you're spending is time is setting it all up, right? And
time is money, but in the end, when someone else is watching it, watching your stream, they came across you on YouTube. That's a new customer you didn't know you had. So
Right, or a new follower, or a new viewer. Right, absolutely.
So
yeah, so I like that. I like I like that conversation a little bit about the simulcasting. I think it's going to help people kind of break that down. I'm so grateful for you being here. Like, you're so fun and knowledgeable.
Oh, thanks, Gary. I'm really excited to join for this season. We have a lot of really great topics coming up.
Yeah, we do.
Very excited for these. I think we overloaded our brainstorm board, so narrowing these down is going to be so hard. But
Overloaded.
I think this will be the best season.
This is going to be a really great season. I'm excited. So, of course, at the end of everything, we love to talk about our sponsors and who helps us out with this. So, first and foremost, these MV7 mics are dope. I love them. We use them all the time. I know Josh and Wade use them for voiceovers and Zoom calls and all kinds of things.
Yes.
If you're interested in the MV7, you can definitely check out the link we'll post below. I also recommend the MV88 for any kind of mobile applications. Those things are sweet.
Mine.
The MV88 is
I use it all
legit.
the time.
I do too. I emailed Shure and was like, listen, I love you for making this thing because it has made my life so much easier on a lot of different levels.
It's just perfectly packaged.
Absolutely. So if you have any, anything you need in the microphone or audio world that is involving audio inputs and things, go check out Shure, man. I mean, yeah, I'm going to be honest, they're a little bit more pricier than the rest, but you know what? You get what you pay for. Quality is important when it comes to production. So, all right. Well, I think this is a wrap on this first episode.
I think so.
That we're doing here. And I'm very excited. I want to thank our crew, Josh and Wade and Miss Kathleen over there, who is awesome. She is fantastic. Josh and Wade are also fantastic, but they're definitely lesser than Kathleen. And you have an intern, though, don't you?
Yes, we have a shadower in right now, so thanks for coming and watching that as well.
That's awesome.
Be sure to share that on your new LinkedIn profile that we create.
That's right. So. Oh, no.
Yeah,
Brian, my boss, Brian's been trying to get me to do a LinkedIn thing. I'm like, bro.
Gary.
It ain't me,
all right,
bro.
we'll talk offline.
It ain't me,
on
bro.
that.
And so this has been the BoxCast podcast. I'm Gary.
And I'm Danielle. Thanks for watching.
Thanks.